Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Sports Hound starting right now.
Let's go! This ain't the fuck like he wants his dick and he stinks!
Oh shit!
It's gone!
Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday night. Sports Hounds are live exclusively on a2dradio.com. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Periscope, and Instagram. You miss anything here on A2D Radio, download us wherever you get your podcast, Spreaker, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, iTunes. We got a huge panel tonight. Make sure you turn those notifications on. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Don't miss a damn thing here on A2D Radio. We got a who's who panel tonight. We have myself, Rob Brakeman. We have Brad Ryer. We got the little guy checking back in, our bracket czar, Mr. Chase Robbins, and obviously the producer, a college bracketologist in his own right, our esteemed producer, Mr. Frank Vesby.
The czar of the NCAA tournament.
Joining us for our bracketology breakdown each and every Monday. The Sports Hounds are brought to you by ARIA Public Adjusters. We may be able to help you. Don't fight your homeowner's insurance alone. Contact ARIA Public Adjusting 813-564-3364. We're also brought to you by BetUSA, a leading online sportsbook that has been in the market for over 25 years. You can bet anywhere in the USA. Use that link right there. 125% sign-up bonus. Look, we have a big couple days coming up. We got a big couple days from the gambling perspective, from a sports perspective, from a party perspective. We got St. Patty's Day. We got the Sixers on tonight. We got NFL free agency. A flurry of moves in the MLB as well. We're going to get to that. So we're going to start with bracketology. Chase, as we always do here on A2D Radio, our format, we have a poll question, and then we kind of branch off from there. We're going to have bracket picks. We're going to have Cinderellas. We're going to have Final Four. We're going to have champion picks. And obviously, we're going to get into some other stuff, too. We got the NFL. Chase is a Steelers fan. They have a new quarterback. We'll see how he feels about that. And obviously, MLB and Sixers live look-ins. But Chase, our poll question tonight, the Gonzaga Bulldogs are the number one overall seed in the tournament. Our poll question tonight, will Gonzaga win the national championship? We'll start with you. You either got to agree or disagree to it. Go ahead. Start.
I disagree because, like we saw earlier this season, losing to Duke and, Alabama. So I have them winning, obviously, against Georgia State, then beating Boise State, beating UConn, then losing to Texas Tech in the Elite Eight.
Wow. Not even in the Final Four, the number one overall seed. I'm with you, Che. I got him going a little further than you, but I do not have Gonzaga winning the national championship. Look, the number one overall seed rarely wins this thing. It just doesn't happen. There's too many. It's a minefield. There's upsets all over the place. There's Cinderellas all over the place. So I always fade the number one overall seed. Obviously, Gonzaga has a strong team. They were the runners-up last year. They got All-Americans all over the place. Chet Holmgren's probably going to be the first pick of the NBA draft. Timmy's back. Drew Timmy's back from last year. So they're a loaded team, and I think that they're going to be there in the Final Four and even the national championship game. But I got Arizona taking them out in the national championship game. I got Zona over Gonzaga in the national championship game.
Yeah, I also have Arizona winning the tournament.
There you go. I like it. I'm off to a good start. Chase agrees with me. Frank, what say you about Gonzaga and the number one overall?
Let's make it 3 for 3. I disagree to the poll. This season has been bonkers for number one teams throughout the college basketball season. We saw Gonzaga being number one. We saw Duke. We saw Arizona. We saw Auburn. We see some teams climbing up, making their way to number one. Tennessee is a good one too. But for Gonzaga, I mean, they're a very good team. But do I have this team winning the national championship? I don't think so. I mean, once we break down the regions and all that, you know, I do have Gonzaga as a Final Four team, but I do not have them winning the national championship. So it's going to be a very entertaining tournament, to say the least. You know, we have fans back in the stands. You know, this is no longer going to be one of those, you know, we're going to have the COVID restrictions. We're not going to have the crazy runs like what we saw last year with Oregon State and Oral Roberts. And, you know, we're not going to see that anymore. So I think we're probably going to see a very, I guess, almost vanilla tournament. But I think there's going to be some prizes, you know, in the Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four rounds.
I mean, a vanilla tournament. I mean, I think this has the makings to be like one of the more non-vanilla tournaments in recent memory. I mean, look at all the teams that you could have. Like, I'm looking at UCLA on the 4 line that has a legitimate shot to win this thing. I have Wisconsin on the 3 line, has a legitimate shot to win this thing. Nova on the 2 line, Tennessee on the 3 line. So, I mean, yeah, are we going to have a 13 seed or an 8 seed like Butler did a couple years ago in the national championship? I don't know. Maybe not, but I think this could get pretty crazy. Brad, what say you about Gonzaga and the poll question?
I'm going to be the 4th one that goes with Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think Gonzaga is going to. I think Gonzaga will get to the Final Four. I'm not sure who they're going to end up playing. Whether they're going to play. I mean, I think Gonzaga will get to the Final Four. I don't know if they're going to end up playing Arizona. It's hard to say right now, but I mean, are they the 1 and the 4?
Well, no, they're on opposites, so they can't play until the national championship.
Oh, okay. Well, then, I mean, they might get to the national championship. I mean, I like Arizona. It's not good. They do not have an easy. They're not going to have an easy time of it. They've got some real tough teams in this bracket. Don't underestimate teams like Murray State, who were really, really good this year. I mean, you know, they were 30-2 for a reason. I wouldn't put it past there. You know, North Carolina is always going to come to play. And I know they're some of the lower seeds, but they're not going to be easy by any stretch. So they're going to have their hands full. And you've got Kentucky looming at the bottom of that in the South bracket, and Baylor. That's the one bracket. In Gonzaga's bracket, you know, you've got Duke. Davidson is a real good team. I think Davidson's going to be one of the surprises of the tournament.
Brad's making a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very. This is going to be an interesting tournament. There's a lot of crazy things that could really happen this year. I'm really curious to see what happens here because I'm looking at some of these games. Is it Towson State, right? The one with the nun.
That's Loyola Chicago.
I'm sorry. Loyola Chicago. I think that team's going to pull off a couple of upsets this year. This is supposed to be really, really good, from what I understand. I haven't seen them play, but from what I'm reading, they're really a very good team, and a lot of people are expecting them to get to the Sweet 16. Maybe not any further than that, but they've been there before doing that. So we'll see what happens there. But I think you're going to see a few upsets, especially in the first 2 rounds.
Chase, answer me this, because I look at a team. I want to talk about a couple teams that didn't get in the tournament that I thought should have got in the tournament. Like, how does a team like Xavier not get in the tournament?
I don't really know. Like, they obviously made the NIT, but I'm trying to look at like who they beat this year. So
right, they beat Creighton twice. Yeah. They beat. I just had it here.
They beat Ohio State. They beat Virginia Tech, who also beat Duke. Beat Oklahoma State.
That should be enough. I mean, Creighton twice, who's in, and Virginia Tech, who won the ACC tournament, and Ohio State, who got an at-large bid out of the Big Ten. And then you're going to tell me Michigan at 17-14, they deserve that bid? I don't know. Bryce Blackwell, I don't know how Michigan got in. They're 17-14. I mean, and they're not even in a playing game, Michigan. I mean,
that selection kind of surprised me a little bit. You know, I was hoping a team like Texas A&M or Dayton would slide into one of those spots, SMU. But Michigan, you know, the season that they had, especially with the Juwan Howard issue, you know, that was a team that should not have been in. I mean, that was the only exception with the team. I think they got the teams right, but I don't know like if the placements are right though.
But then I also don't understand why, you know, you have Kentucky as the 2 seed in the South. Or I'm sorry, Kentucky's the 2 seed in the East, so they're going to play at Wells if they get to the second weekend. And then you have Nova, the 2 seed in the South. They should just be switched.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't Nova get to play at the Wells Fargo Center? You're the big 2 seed in the Big East tournament. You win the Big East tournament, and then you got to go play in whatever. I think it's Indianapolis. I think the South's in Indianapolis.
The South is in. Let me see over here.
Yeah, it's in Indianapolis.
It's in Indianapolis, the South, which that doesn't make sense either. That's
right.
Not the South. Like, I mean, what are we doing? But whatever. But like, I don't like conference tournaments at all. If I could tweak March Madness and college basketball in one way, I would get rid of conference tournaments. They're stupid. They're totally stupid because you get a team that slacks off all year, that just wants to put something together in the final few games and then steal a bid from a team that's been working hard and building a resume from start to finish. I don't think that's right. And I get it. They're never going to go away because of how much revenue they generate. But I understand, like, the automatic bid should go to the regular season champion of the conference. And if you want to have a conference tournament anyway to give teams extra games to build a resume, I'm fine with that. But an overall body of work, a resume, should be rewarded based at the end of the regular season. We shouldn't have to do like Texas A&M. Like a week ago, we were even talking about Texas A&M as being a potential tournament team. Then they win a couple games in the 11th hour, and they're right there. I don't agree with that. I don't like that. What any thoughts on conference tournaments? Does anyone share my opinion on conference tournaments and how stupid they are?
I mean, I agree. I agree with some of it. Yeah,
I kind of like them. They're fun to watch. I mean, look, we're lucky enough to watch the Big East or the Big Ten. They're fun to they're both fun tournaments to watch. You know, just because all these teams have such rivalries and such a tradition against each other, they are kind of fun to watch.
I don't disagree. They're not fun to watch. They are fun to watch, but I have a problem with giving potentially a team that slacked off all year, that just wants to make a run in the last couple of weeks, an automatic bid and a ticket to the dance to win a short tournament. Chase, what do you think about conference tournaments?
I mean, they're obviously fun to watch. I like watching them, but like, there's a couple problems to them. Like one, like Virginia Tech, like winning the tournament, like, and then getting into the NCAA tournament. It should be automatic bid. Like you said, the regular season tournament winner. Like I'd still keep it though, like to see like who should make it and who shouldn't, like who's slacking off at the end and who's getting better and that. But like also like no one really goes to the games because most of the games are like at in 12. And everyone's at work or at school and no one is going to it. So, yeah, like they're fun to watch, but I don't know if you necessarily keep them.
Yeah, getting some of the comments here. Pete Evans in the house. Check out Pete on Birds of a Feather. That's going to be on Thursday night, right after Pro Fan Talk. Going to have a lot to talk about. A lot of NFL free agency, a lot of moving and shaking. He disagrees. I'm taking the field. It's definitely a crapshoot this year. So, you know, we got 4 people on the panel, the Bracketology panel. They don't like Gonzaga. And Pete Evans, he doesn't like Gonzaga either. What's up, fellas? March Madness is almost here. Bryce Blackwell talking about some Hassan Reddick. Eagles making a big splash in free agency, getting a pass rusher. Bryce wants to know how Michigan got in the tournament. And I want to know how Michigan got in the tournament, too.
I mean, they have had a couple good wins, but a bunch of not good losses. Like losing to Seton Hall.
Well, Seton
But
Hall's
they had a
not that bad. Seton Hall's in the tournament too.
Yeah, I know they're pretty good though. But losing to Minnesota,
That's bad. They stunk.
Yeah.
Like North Carolina's a good team, but losing by 21 to them.
Yep,
Barely beating Northwestern.
that's not good.
They
And then I have a
did
problem
beat Purdue.
Yeah, that's all. That's good, but they're an 11 seed. Like they're not even in a play-in tournament, so they're not even one of the last 4 teams in. So the last 4 teams into this thing were Rutgers, Notre Dame, Wyoming, and Indiana. So Michigan's not even one of those teams either. So I just don't understand how they get the pass.
I don't understand why. I don't understand why Michigan, who did not finish ahead of Rutgers, gets a tournament bid. Doesn't have to play a play-in game, and Rutgers does. And Rutgers beat almost all the teams in the league. All the top teams they beat this year.
I mean, but they did lose to a couple of horrible teams. They lost to
Northwestern. That was a terrible loss.
Yeah. Lafayette. DePaul wasn't a good loss. UMass. But I mean, obviously Purdue was a good win. I mean, losing at home against Maryland, that's not like the worst loss in the world, but it's just not a good loss. Losing to Minnesota, barely beating Nebraska, losing to Northwestern, but they're also beating a lot of good teams: Wisconsin, Rutgers, Purdue, Indiana twice, I think. But yeah,
and then I watch Rutgers, and I see Rutgers. I see the potential in Rutgers with Ron Harper Jr. They have a great player. And they play good defense, and they're scrappy, and they're well coached. So, the resume's fine, and I like the resume. You have to look at who you beat and how you beat them, where you beat them. But I've also watched Rutgers a bunch of times, and they passed the eye test, much more so than Michigan. Same with Indiana. So I just don't get how Michigan gets the pass to be not even a last 4 team in, and gets the 11 seed to play Colorado State. Now we just talked a bunch of trash on Michigan. Having said that, I do have Michigan in my Sweet 16. It seems like every year, but every year it seems like this team, the team that everyone talks a bunch of trash on, that shouldn't be in or is a questionable seed or whatever, they use that as fuel to make a run in this thing. So I do have Michigan, and we'll talk about some Cinderellas next, or we can go through it. We'll go through it region by region. We'll start in the South. So. Yeah, my South is probably – wait, what's the South? The South is
Arizona.
The South is Arizona's region. Okay, so we'll start there in the South. So Arizona's the 1 seed. Chase, does anything – what struck your eye about the South region here? Anything stand out to you?
I mean, there's I remember last year I – chose Loyola Chicago Sweet 16 or Elite 8 or something, and that's my friend that just commented, but yeah, I have them losing to Ohio State. I just think EJ Liddell is too good for Loyola Chicago's defense. I mean, Tennessee, and I have them losing to Villanova in the Sweet 16. And then I have Arizona and Villanova both. I have Arizona and Villanova both in the Elite Eight?
I think that's pretty straightforward, with the top 2 seeds advancing to the Elite Eight. There, this is the first region I did. This was the easiest region for me to pick. The South region here. I mean, I try to pick a Sweet 16 Cinderella in each of these regions. Michigan, I have them in the Sweet 16. I have them beating Colorado State, and then I have them beating Tennessee. Look, I'm not a Rick Barnes guy at all. Like, his teams always choke. They always have high seeds. They got a lot of momentum after beating both Kentucky and Texas A&M in consecutive days to claim the SEC crown. So I like to fade teams that are coming in hot that I don't think are that good. That's an interesting take on Ohio State, because I don't think Ohio State's that good. I have Loyola Chicago advancing there. And then I have Chattanooga upsetting. I got Chattanooga upsetting Illinois in the first round. I think Seton Hall takes out TCU. So, yeah, it's going to come down. It's going to be a Wildcat on Wildcat battle here in the Elite Eight, Arizona and Villanova. And I just think Arizona is better than Villanova. Arizona has a lot of guns. They got a lot of ammunition. Out there out of the Pac-12. So I don't see how they lose. I love Benedict McLaren out of there. He's going to be a first round pick one day. So I have Arizona going to the Final Four. We got Arizona beating the 16 seed. Then we got Arizona beating Seton Hall. We got Arizona beating Houston. Then we have Arizona beating Villanova. Michigan and Chattanooga are my sleepers in that region. Frank, how do you see the South?
Yeah, I actually had a hard time deciding who to pick in the South. I mean, I got Arizona going all the way to the Elite Eight, but my Final Four team out of this region, I'm going with Tennessee on this one. I have a weird feeling that, any of the top 5 seeds in this region, they can take that region. I mean, I do have Loyola upsetting Ohio State. Other than that, just nothing really stands out to me on who can make a deep run. I do have Houston beating Illinois, but I got Tennessee with the upset against Arizona in the Elite Eight, and they go to the Final Four for me in that region.
Chase, what do you think about there? Brad, go ahead. You can go.
Okay, I have Arizona winning that conference. I have Tennessee as the other team in the Elite Eight. I like Arizona to win to beat Wright State. Obviously, I think Seton Hall wins. I would go with Houston. I would also go with Illinois. At the same point, though, Arizona is going to roll past most of these teams. I think Houston is going to give them the most trouble. Down in the other part of the bracket, I think Loyola Chicago is going to knock Ohio State and Villanova, and they're going to lose to Tennessee in the Sweet 16.
All right, so you have Loyola making a little run.
Yeah, I think that I'm going to go with the Lord's sister there to
Sister
go ahead
Jean.
and with some divine intervention and get to the Elite Eight, where I think that's where they will unfortunately meet their end. But I think you're going to see a heck of a run from that.
All right, Chase. So what do you think? What do you think about the bottom of that bracket? Because the panel's pretty split. It sounds like. Seems like Villanova's the 2 seed there, getting no love. My Wildcats getting no love. They're just in 16 of 17 tournaments. They won the Big East title again. Big East tournament again, I should say. They got Connor Gillespie, a all-world point guard. They have bigs, they have shooting, they have defense, they have passing. They're the best foul shooting team in the country, which goes a long way in March. So why aren't these guys giving Villanova any love, Chase?
I mean, Villanova is known for the team to make that Final Four run. But, there aren't many great teams in this bracket other than Arizona and Tennessee. Illinois is good. Houston's good. but I don't think they have enough to beat Villanova. Like, I love Chicago, Ohio State. They're capable of beating them. Tennessee would be a close matchup, but Villanova, I think, would pull it out and then lose to Arizona because I don't think the South is really a strong division.
Okay, so what do you think about Tennessee? I don't like Tennessee at all. I don't like their coach, Rick Barnes. He chokes all the time, even back in his days at Texas. They obviously won the SEC. They've beaten some teams. They have some great quality wins. SEC is a pretty good conference. So to win that is pretty strong. They beat Kentucky along the way. So, like, what do you think about Tennessee in this year's tournament?
I had them losing to Villanova, like I said, but Longwood, I don't think it will be like really a contest. Michigan, they'll probably win by about 8, and then they'll lose to Villanova. Like Kenny Chandler is good. Like he's definitely going to score a lot, but I just think they're not going to be able to go too far.
Let's get to some more comments. Michigan, we got then Greg Milakovic. Check him out Sunday nights and Wednesday nights right here on A2D.com. He agrees to the poll. So we got some Gonzaga #1 overall seed love. Greg's got Gonzaga winning the national championship. Bryce Blackwell, he likes Kentucky a lot. That's his favorite team. Arizona, Baylor, #1 seeds. Tom Arnone, he likes Gonzaga as well, so he's agreeing to the poll. Wahoo 56, Chase. I guess that's one of your boys on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Terps for Life 17. Check out Chase's YouTube channel. He's got a bunch of nice, cool. There he is. Terps for Life on YouTube. He's got sports highlights. He's got videos of him schooling his friends and Nerf basketball. So it's fun. I watched a couple of his videos before we went on. So give Chase a like, a subscribe, show him some love. Our bracketologist here on A2DRadio.com. He does some fun stuff on YouTube. Wahoo 56. How did Maryland not make the NIT? Chase, I know that's your favorite team. Your dad went there.
They shouldn't have made it. It's like
they stink. They don't even have a coach.
Losing to George Mason, Louisville. I hate talking trash on my team, but I have to be honest. Virginia Tech wasn't the worst loss, but Northwestern at home. We had a couple good wins, but a lot of our games came really close, like losing to at Iowa by 5. We lost to Illinois by 12, but we were in there for a while. Losing to Wisconsin by 1. We beat Illinois by 16. Beat Rutgers at 8 by 8. Getting crushed by Indiana. Barely losing to Michigan State, but I just don't think we had enough talent. Like Eric Ayala, Fats Russell, they're all good, but it's Fats Russell's first year at Maryland because he transferred from Rhode Island. Like he's been good, averaging 15.1 per game, but like they don't have like all of the communication in the world. But we don't have enough talent.
Rob Povia, he likes St. Mary's. Joe Horofsky, he's like Memphis, UCLA, Arizona, and Kansas. That's his Sweet 16. Rob Povia, he disagrees to the poll. He does not like Gonzaga to cut down the nets. Rob Povia, he likes Rutgers to the Sweet 16. I like Rutgers against Notre Dame a lot. Notre Dame stinks. I have 6 plays in the first round that I'm going to be releasing. All my money stays and plays on betusa.com. #1 sportsbook in America over 25 years. Bet anywhere in the country. You get a $125 sign-up bonus when you sign up using the A2D link. I love Rob Povia. I love Rutgers getting 1 against Notre Dame. That's one of my plays. 6 plays in the first round. 2 of them are playing games, so like 4 for you. I'll release throughout the show when we get to them. But Rob Povia, he likes Rutgers. I like Rutgers too. They're getting 1. Notre Dame stinks. And I think the Scarlet Knights, I think they can make a little noise here in this tournament. I
I
don't
think they can get to the Sweet 16.
I don't think that's a bad take by Rob Povey at all. Rob Povey did great work here on the Hockey Happy Hour, but I mean, you look at that. We'll go to that bracket next. We'll go to the West next. So we'll do Gonzaga's region next. But like Alabama's super inconsistent, so like I think they can be had there. And then I know Chase he alluded at the top of the show that he might be liking Texas Tech. I'm having a hard time, Frank, with the bottom of this bracket here. I think Gonzaga coasts in the top half of the bracket.
Yeah, I also agree with that one as well. I kind of flipped around a little bit with who I got winning. You know, especially the Boise State Memphis matchup. It's kind of a little bit of a coin flip, but then I'm like, as I'm doing this right now, I originally had Boise advancing, but then I'm like, you know what? I feel like this is more of a Memphis win the more I think about it. So I got Memphis advancing. The other one, we alluded to it earlier, Alabama versus the 11 seed Rutgers and Notre Dame. I hope Rutgers gets this win. So I actually got Rutgers advancing against Nate Oates against Alabama. You know, this was a step back year for the Crimson Tide. So I'm gonna go with that 11-6 upset right there. The only other team I see possibly pulling off an upset, I like that 13-4 matchup of Vermont and Arkansas. I think Vermont, they got the shooting going on. I know that their strength of schedule, you know, it's in the bottom of the NCAA, but they know how to shoot. Don't underestimate the shooting. And, you know, shooting can get a team pretty far. So I kind of like that 13-4 upset right there with Vermont over Arkansas.
I like a lot of these 13 seeds. I do. I mean, I already have Chattanooga. I have another 13 seed loaded up. I have another 13 seed loaded that we're going to talk about in a little bit. I have a 13 seed in my Sweet 16.
Ooh.
So we'll get to that later. But Vermont, they're always in the tournament.
Yeah.
They're always in the tournament. Every year they win that conference and they get to the tournament. There's something to be said for that. I do think Arkansas is a little too much for them. I think they're big and athletic. I mean, really the only thing they lost on an Elite Eight team from a year ago is Moses Moody, who went 14th in the draft to the Golden State Warriors. But like I look at like Texas Tech, I don't like. You look at the 6 seed Alabama, I don't trust them. The 3 seed Texas Tech, I don't trust them. They can't score. Michigan State, this is not a vintage Michigan State team. You know, Davidson was looking great, and then they lose to Richmond in the A-10 championship game, which had me scratching my head a little bit. And then Duke has just been kind of schizophrenic all year. So I'm struggling with the bottom of this bracket here. I don't know what to do. I know you like Texas Tech. Why do you like Texas Tech so much?
I just first game Montana State, that's should be a win, and Texas Tech, they're good at shooting the ball. As a team, their field goal percentage is last time I checked it was pretty high. It's
field goal.
They score 71.7 points per game. They shoot 47% from the field, so they're a good shooting team. Not the best 3-point shooting team, but I've seen them play a couple times. Bryson Williams is a great 3-point shooter.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I got them beating Duke, beating Gonzaga, going all the way to the Final Four and losing to Purdue.
Wow, okay. And Brad, you said you like Davidson in this region a little bit.
Yeah, you know what? I do, but I just have this gnawing feeling in the back of my mind that the networks are going to want to see Michigan State and Duke.
Right.
Yep.
There's no virtual check. But
and you know what? I think I forgive me for being a little how do I put this without being rude about it? But,
conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. That's. I just have a feeling that I like Davidson. I think that they should win. their game against Michigan State. But I just have a funny feeling you're going to see Michigan in 2 because I think all the networks want to see Coach K and Izzo one more time. So, unfortunately, as much as I think Davidson should win the game, I don't think they're going to. Looking at it again, and just my brain is telling me that the networks, for the ratings purposes, are going to want that game, and somehow it's going to happen.
Who do you have in that game?
Will make it happen. I know conspiracy theory, and
I love conspiracy theories.
But I just it is what it is. The networks want that game.
Yeah, and I don't think that they're like Coach K is going to get a lot of love in this tournament, especially after they got smacked by North Carolina in Coach K's final game at Cameron Indoor, and all the Duke fans were crying. But then they lost the ACC championship as well. So I don't get. What do you think about Duke, Chase?
They're obviously a good team. They have a lot of good players, but I already said I only have them going to the Sweet 16. I think it's gonna be first off a lot of pressure with Coach K's every game could be his final game ever.
Right.
They have tons of talent: Paulo Banchero, Wendell Moore, Mark Williams, Jeremy Roach, Joey Baker. But I think it's just gonna be way too much pressure. And I already said about how Texas Tech. I just think they'll get upset by them.
Okay. Frank, what do you have? What do you have going on in the bottom of that region?
In the bottom of that region, I mean, I do have Duke go all the way to the Elite Eight. I know that region, I do have a Gonzaga-Duke matchup. I think it's a great matchup, especially with the potential of, that potential number 1 overall pick is going to be in that game between Chet Holmgren and Paulo Banchero. I think this is going to be a great matchup, but I got the Zags sliding by Duke. I think Coach K's run comes to an unfortunate end here. I was hoping that Duke is in a better position in a better region in order for him to get that one last hurrah. But that West region, this was another tough region for me. So I got Gonzaga over Duke in the Elite Eight. Gonzaga punches their ticket to the Final Four.
Don19 wants to know what our thoughts on Chet Holmgren are. I mean, he's a true freshman, 7-foot freshman from Gonzaga. He's been labeled as the white Kevin Durant. He can score in a bunch of different ways. He gets block shots. He gets rebounds. He can shoot threes. He's just a tremendous prospect. He's skin and bones, though, which has me a little bit worried about his professional prospects because the NBA is full of grown men. I mean, I'm watching Joel Embiid and Jokic go at it here on ESPN, and you got guys like Giannis. I mean, these guys are grown, muscular men, so I worry about him on that standpoint. But in terms of the college game, he's very, very good. He's very, 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 very good. And I think that the label of the white Kevin Durant is appropriate. And if you haven't seen him play, when you see him play, I think you'll understand the comparisons. And he's going to be on full display in this West region. Top of the West region, I think, is pretty straightforward on my sheet. I mean, I do have Memphis over Boise State. I saw Joey H there in the chat. He's got Memphis over Gonzaga. Matthew Walsh giving Chase some love about his basketball knowledge, checking us out on YouTube. You're checking us out on YouTube. Make sure you pound that like button, turn those notifications on, and subscribe so you don't miss anything here on A2D Radio. But Memphis taking out Gonzaga in the round of 32, that's crazy talk, right? Does anyone else have that?
I mean, we've seen it happen before where these teams with high expectations, especially a team like Gonzaga, you expect a team like that to make runs and then out of nowhere get upset in the second round. So I do like that Memphis Gonzaga matchup, but I just think Gonzaga is a lot better than Memphis. I think.
And Joe, anything can happen in this thing. That's why it's fun. It's unpredictable and it's fun to pick upsets. But just I can't commit to Memphis beating a team like Gonzaga because I don't trust Memphis on the offensive end of the floor at all. Like, you don't have a first round pick on the squad. I just think that buckets are going to be at a premium, and against a good defense and a good team like Gonzaga, I just question that if Memphis can score. I think Memphis can score. I think they just out athletic. They got more athletes than
they're gonna run into some trouble and have a period where they don't score. And I think that's going to be a problem. They're going to go through one of those 4 to 5 minute periods where they don't score, and that's where they're going to lose the game.
You mean Memphis if they play Gonzaga?
Yeah, in that kind of a matchup.
Now, Boise State can get buckets. Boise State can get buckets. So, like, if Boise State can find a way to beat Memphis, which totally feasible, totally possible, I think Boise State would have a better chance to take out Gonzaga
I think they're too small.
But they can score and shoot the lights out. If they shoot 64% from the field and Gonzaga's off, like, that can be an upset. That could be a potential upset. Chase, Memphis over Gonzaga in the second round. That's crazy, right? You don't have that.
Yeah, I don't even have Memphis winning. Like, they have an amazing amount of talent, but horrible coach.
No, you don't like Penny Hardaway?
Really?
No, he's trying to get when he was at Memphis, he's trying to get them to do all the plays that they ran back in the 80s and 90s, but that's not going to work in today's game. I just don't like them in the tournament.
Okay.
I mean, they have, like I said, an amazing amount of talent with DeAndre Williams, Imani Bates, Jalen Duren. But I just don't like them. They're not a really good free throw shooting team.
That can hurt for sure.
Yep.
Joseph, I based my picks off strength of schedule, record versus top 25 teams, and who they played in the last 10 games of the season. Chase, do you have any type of formula you want to share with the people as they fill out their bracket?
What I do, like, I also look at their schedule and I look who these teams have all beaten, and I liked Rutgers over Notre Dame, but with all those horrible losses, I didn't take them. Like, even though Alabama is not a good team, one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the country, Division I, it's Division I, but I just look at who they played, like strength of schedule. Like, I'm not gonna. I don't really like to take Gonzaga too far because the best team they play all year is St. Mary's, Santa Clara. And they don't play very many good teams. They have all the good teams at the beginning of the year, but other than that, it's basically a bunch of free wins and still losing to St. Mary's. But that's how I go through my brackets.
Yeah, Don, Chase, he's not in on Penny. He's out. Chase is out on Penny. He's got Boise State rolling.
Don, no, I don't base my picks off of mascots. Now that, sorry, Mom, but that's something that she does when she does her brackets. I don't look at the mascots. I actually do look at strength of schedule. I kind of take a look at the trends, take a look at strength of schedule. Maybe some statistics here and there. Maybe something I know, something I don't know. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, I was like a perfect 22 for 22 in the first round, and then Michigan State choked in their opening round game. So, I take a look at the trends. I take a look at, what's hot, what's not, strength of schedule, conference strength. But no, I don't go by mascots. That's a little crazy. But
Brad, do you have
each their own?
Do you have a formula? Do you have a?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. I like signature wins.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I like teams that get signature type wins. That's why I love Rutgers to beat Notre Dame. I think they're going to knock off Alabama as well. I think that they're they're going to find their way into the Sweet 16. I think they can knock off Texas Tech as well. So I mean, I think that's something that they can definitely do. I like Gonzaga and Duke in the Final Eight, but those would be my matchups. And again, I'm going with the conspiracy theory at the bottom of that bracket with Duke and Michigan State.
Elite Eight will be Arizona versus Villanova, UCLA versus Purdue, Gonzaga versus Duke, and Kansas versus Iowa. Which I don't even think that last one's possible. They got to meet in the Sweet 16. But let's go to that.
All right.
Let's go to that. Let me make sure. I gotta get my picks up here.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got 6 plays for the people. If you want real plays from the Money Pot Podcast and Bully Vegas, be an A2D member, $9.99 a month. You get special merchandise, insider shows, the member perks, 20% off at all campus down on the Ocean City Boardwalk. Let's go to the Midwest, where Kansas is the number 1 seed. This got a little dicey. This is my 13 seed. The South Dakota State Jackrabbits.
Oh, the Jacks.
30-4 on the year. They score in bunches. They shoot a lot of threes. I think they match up very, very well with Providence in the first round. And everyone's Cinderella is kind of Iowa. They won the Big Ten tournament. They beat Purdue. They beat Indiana on the way. So they're a hot team, but I like, if everyone's zigging, I like the Zag. So I'm going to fade. I'm going to have Iowa beat Richmond. That's good. Fred McCaffrey will get into the second round, but then I have South Dakota State taking out Iowa, getting to the Sweet 16. I got Kansas rolling to the Elite Eight. And then the bottom of that bracket, I really like Wisconsin in the bottom half of that bracket. I actually have Wisconsin in my Final Four. So my surprise here is South Dakota State, and I ultimately have Kansas playing Wisconsin with Wisconsin moving on to the Final Four. I like Wisconsin. They lost in the early part of the Big Ten tournament, so they got a nice little layoff, get healthy. Their best player got hit with a ridiculous flagrant against a stinky team like Nebraska, trying to take him out a little bit. So hopefully he'll be healthy. And I really like Wisconsin. A lot of storylines in this. In this bracket. You have Iowa, who everyone's picking. Providence won the Big East outright regular season title for the first time in years. You have LSU's the 6th seed here. They just fired their coach because they're about to get hit with a bunch of sanctions. And then you have Auburn. Like, what Auburn team are we going to see? Are we going to see the Auburn team from February that was running through the SEC? Or are we going to see the Auburn team that doesn't get Jabari Smith involved and has problems scoring from the perimeter? I don't know. But I'm pretty confident in my picks. I love my South Dakota State Cinderella pick to the Sweet 16, and I love my Wisconsin Final Four pick. Whoever else, go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, this one I have Auburn going to the Final Four, even though I am not a big fan of Bruce Pearl.
No.
But I think this is one of those times where Auburn is going to go to the Final Four. I'm looking at the Kansas roster right now, and they got a lot of guys on the injury report. I mean, like 5 of their players are like a lot of giant question marks. I don't know how much of an impact that's going to be. I mean, you have Mitch Lightfoot with the knee injury. How much of that is going to impact Kansas down the line? I don't have a Cinderella run like a South Dakota State, but I do have an 11-6 upset with Iowa State over LSU. I mean, firing Will Wade, and then you somehow still make the tournament. I just think that's going to catch up to them, and I got the Cyclones with an upset, falling to Wisconsin in the round of 32. Other than that, I see no real run here by any low-seeded teams. I mean, Richmond's an interesting story. I do like the stats on South Dakota State. That's a good look on that one. Will that will it come to fruition? Will they score hot right out the get-go against Providence in the opening round game? But for me, I think this is an Auburn Final Four run for them.
And then, Frank, the gambling line has really piqued my interest when it comes to South Dakota State, because I look at South Dakota State and Providence. South Dakota State is only a 2-point dog to the Big East.
Providence should not be a 4 seed.
Why not? Well, why not? Providence won the Big East, Brad.
Yeah, but the Big East wasn't that good this year.
Oh, I totally disagree with that.
I don't think it was that
mean,
good.
they got
not like it has been in previous years.
Well, it's just Georgetown stinks now. Syracuse isn't in it anymore. Pittsburgh's not in it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So
neither's Miami. I mean, unfortunately, all the good teams went to the Atlantic 10.
But I mean, what do you have? 5 Big East teams in the tournament? I mean, Nova's a 2 seed.
Nova's a legitimate team, and Creighton is a legitimate team. I don't think Providence should be a 4 seed. That's all. I think they should be. I don't think they're that good. I think they're way too high.
So
that's why I think that they're prime. They're in a prime position to get upset, because I think they're way too high. And I do think South Dakota State is going to beat them, and I like that selection. That's one of my that's my big upset. I don't think they go any further than that, South Dakota State, but I do think they're going to get by Providence.
And then obviously that'll be one of my plays in the first round. One of the Brinkman plays. South Dakota State getting 2 over Providence. That game's I think that's a Thursday game. So yeah, I like South Dakota State. Chase, what do you think? Am I nuts for picking South Dakota State in my Sweet 16?
No, not really. I have them beating Providence, but I think Iowa is just too good from the 3-point line. They have
Keegan Murray and Bohannon and
Connor McCaffrey, I think.
Yep,
is his name. They have all them shooting lights out from 3. They had this one player that made like 10 3-pointers against Maryland.
Yeah. They're good, and they're well coached, Fran McCaffrey. Yeah. But, how far do you have Iowa going?
I have Iowa losing to Kansas in the Sweet 16. Like, I have them scoring 80-plus in all their games. Probably like 90 against Richmond. Like, beating like I have them like beating South Dakota State in like double overtime. It's gonna be that good of a game. And then I have them losing to Kansas, probably like 90 to 85 or something like
that. Don 19. Do you think Juwan Howard has a puncher's chance to make the Final Four, to make the Elite 8? But good one, Don. Don's from Michigan, Chase. So he likes Michigan, the Wolverines. He likes the Pistons and the Tigers and the Red Wings and all those Detroit teams. So he likes Michigan. I do have Michigan in my Sweet 16, but I don't think they're going to go to the Elite 8. They have a really good player, All-American, in Hunter Dickinson, and they need to load up around him to have be able for me to get my vote of confidence in years past. Ryan Brodo's in the house. He agrees to the poll, so he's all Gonzaga'd up. And then Don 19 giving Scott Hall some love. Obviously, Scott Hall, legendary wrestler, passes away at the age of 63. I don't know if he's actually dead yet.
Yeah, it's but they took him off the confirmed.
Yeah, he's done. He's done. And
I'm just going to give one more thing for him in his honor. Hey yo!
Awesome. One of the greats. NWO. Chase. This is before your time. You're 11. Back when
you got to give him the gold. Give him a gold too.
Wrestling was great.
Back when we were your age, like wrestling, it was awesome. Stone Cold would come out and drink beer, and Stone Cold stunner everyone, and the NWO would spray paint everyone and wreak havoc in the WCW. So one of those guys died. So that's what we're talking about there. Pretty sad pretty sad actually, because he was a pioneer. He changed the whole business. He changed the whole landscape of the 90s. He changed how wrestlers got paid. He changed how they made it cool to be bad guys.
Yep.
Because in the 80s it was boring because Hulk Hogan would just come in and beat up everyone, and everyone knew Hulk Hogan was going to come in and beat up everyone, and he was a good guy. So, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and the NWO came around, and it made being a villain cool. And the Monday Night Wars were awesome. UConn might make some noise. They're good. That's a Big East team as well. That's from Bob Brinkman. So, Chase, how do you have this? Where are we at? The Midwest region. Rattle off your picks for the Midwest region here.
So Baylor as the number 1. I have them losing to Purdue in the
No. Sorry, we're at Kansas's region.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Kansas. I do have them winning. Then I have South Dakota State being Creighton, Iowa winning, South Dakota State winning. I also have Iowa State winning. Then I have Wisconsin winning.
What can you tell me about Iowa State, Chase? I don't know anything about Iowa State. I don't think I've seen them play once this year.
I've seen them play. I saw them play one game. I just put in the background of something, but I'm looking at them right now, and they are they're 32.1% free 3-point shooting team. Again, not a good free throw shooting team, 68.4. But I don't like LSU. Like you said, they're firing their coach. I don't think they have enough talent to guard Isaiah Brockington.
Very good player.
Yeah.
Yes.
17.2 a game.
Brad, what do you think about the Midwest region?
Okay, I like in the end. I like Iowa against Wisconsin. Okay, I think Creighton takes down Kansas, and then I think Iowa takes down Creighton. I think Wisconsin just grinds through, and I think that's where you're going to end up with Creighton against Wisconsin, and Wisconsin is going to be the winner of that bracket.
Okay, so you have Wisconsin. So wait, you have Wisconsin over Creighton in the Elite Eight?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Ooh. So you got Kansas going out early.
Yeah, I just think as you made the point, they're banged up, Rob. This is not the time to be banged up, and they're going to be playing excellent teams. I just think they're going to run out of gas. Creighton is a big physical team. They always have been, and historically. That's the kind of team that they can kind of shut that team down, I think. And Kansas has always seemed to have a history the last few years of not getting it done, getting to the Final 8 or the Final 4. So, every time I'll tell you what, I have had so many sheets where I had Kansas in the Final 4, and they're always going out early on me. So I kind of a little prejudiced against Kansas. They screwed me so many times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You guys probably have been the same way with that. That team has let me down too many times.
Oh yeah.
So I've been off that team for quite a while now, as far as the NCAA.
They just never have a point guard.
Exactly, and there's
something always wrong with Kansas in the NCAA tournament. It just something always seems to go wrong, and I don't think that they get by Creighton. I think that's a Big East team. It's tough and physical, and I just think that they're going to wear them down, and they're going to beat them. And Wisconsin is just a little bit bigger and stronger and tougher than Creighton. I think those are going to be ugly games, but I think that at the end the Wisconsin, will be the all ugly team of that conference, and they will win that conference and be in the Final 4.
Chase, what do you think about Kansas?
I think they're a good team. They have, I really don't know how to pronounce his name, but Ochi Abaji or something.
Yeah.
Right. the
He's
big
good.
guy.
But they do have a couple injured players on their team. But I like them winning that bracket over Auburn. David McCormack, he's grabbing a lot of rebounds. Christian Brown, Jalen Wilson, and I think Remy Martin is very underrated. He was at Arizona State last year, then transferred, but he hasn't been playing like the greatest. But I still think he's underrated for what people think he is.
I agree about Remy Martin, and David McCormack's really good. I just don't see them getting challenged at all in the top of that region. So like I have him in my Elite Eight by default. I don't even have Creighton beating San Diego State. I mean, I think Creighton, they beat Providence by 50. Like no exaggeration, 50 in the Big East semifinals, and then they came out super flat against Villanova. Luckily for Creighton, Villanova also came out flat. Villanova was flat the whole Big East tournament as well, giving Creighton a puncher's chance in that game, but Villanova ultimately prevailed. So, like, it's hard for me to trust teams that I can't trust scoring the basketball. I can't trust Creighton scoring the basketball, so I have San Diego State winning. I already went into detail about South Dakota State and why I think that they're a good team and why they're going to go. They got three guys that are averaging double figures, and then they have three additional guys that average 9, 9, 8, and 7 respectively. So that's a pretty deep team for a mid-major. They're 30-4. Doug Wilson is great. They make a lot of threes. Doug Wilson is, he's 40% from three, 57% field goal percentage. He plays 24 minutes a game. Like those are big time numbers. And then they have Baylor Sheeman. He plays 33 minutes a game. He averages 16, 7, and 4 a game. He shoots 51% from the field, 47% from three. And they're pretty good at foul shots too, which is a big emphasis for me. So, but they're not going to beat Kansas. Kansas has just got too many athletes for them. And then the bottom of this bracket is just like USC and Miami. I don't trust any of them to make a run. LSU and Iowa State, I don't trust them to make a run. Brockington's good. Chase pointed out Isaiah Brockington. He's really good. But, it's kind of – and then I don't trust Auburn. I don't trust Bruce Pearl. I don't trust their guards. You got to have guards in March. So, I have Wisconsin and Kansas, and then I have Wisconsin going. Is that – who do you have in the Final Four here, Chase?
I have Texas Tech and Purdue, and then Purdue winning and advancing, then Arizona and Kansas. And
so you got the 1 seed. You're going
Arizona.
Kansas.
And then Arizona prevailing, and then Arizona winning it all.
Okay, so we got one more region left. Frank, do you have anything to add? Brad, anything to add on the Midwest?
My hatred for Kansas stems from that my dad is a Kansas State alumni, so email.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the East, our final region. Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games will be played at the Wells Fargo Center here in Philadelphia. It's an interesting region. I don't know who wants to start here. I got things getting pretty nuts in this region.
I got nothing nuts in this region. I guess I'll go. So, in this region, this is one of those regions where I think this is going to be another one of those regions where I don't have a number 1 seed going into the Final Four. I know Baylor; they're a very good team. You're the defending national champions, but it's hard to repeat in March Madness. But I think the magic runs out for them. I have them falling to UCLA in the Sweet 16. The only other team I do like Wyoming. I only want Wyoming to win, not Indiana. I got them upsetting St. Mary's. Virginia Tech is another one that I like. I like that 11-6 upset. You know, I just want Karma to hit Chris Beard real bad. So I'm going to go with Virginia Tech over Texas. The North Carolina Marquette matchup, I'm a little bit intrigued with. You know, Shaka Smart coming back. Are we gonna see the Shaka Smart that made those wild runs? You know, with VCU a couple of years ago. Are we going to see the return of Havoc? You know, in the NCAA tournament. But I'm not fully convinced yet with Marquette. I do have UNC advancing. With this one, you know, I think this is the bracket where I have Kentucky winning this region over UCLA in the Elite Eight.
I also have Kentucky and UCLA in the Elite Eight. I do have UCLA advancing. Look, I think UCLA is really good. They're just not as good as Arizona, so they didn't win the Pac-12. But Jazzy Jujang out there, Tiger Campbell, they have a lot of good players. They went to the Final Four last year. This is where I think, look, I really like this North Carolina team. You look at the metrics on North Carolina, like I think that they have a chance to make a run here. You know, they finished second in the ACC, 15-5 in the ACC, 24-9 overall. They can score. So, like, I have North Carolina. This is my Cinderella in this region. I have North Carolina beating Marquette. I have North Carolina beating Baylor. And then I have them losing to UCLA. I also have UCLA and Kentucky. A lot of teams I don't trust at all in this region. I like your 11-6 pick, 11-6 upset there, Frank. I like Virginia Tech. Texas can't score.
Mm-hmm.
They can't score. Purdue, they're going to beat Yale, but, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me to see Virginia Tech potentially in the Sweet 16. I don't have it picked that way. And then you have a really fun mid-major matchup with Murray State and San Francisco.
Yeah.
Murray State's 30-2. They can really score, so I like Murray State there. Kentucky, I mean, that's a popular Final Four pick, but, like, this is why I can't trust Duke, because they're all young bucks.
Mm-hmm.
They're all a bunch of freshmen. So, like, I don't know. Is Ty Washington going to be healthy for Kentucky? I don't know. But, like, I look at that potential matchup there, Kentucky-Murray State in the second round. That's going to be a real barn burner. Both of the teams are going to want to get out and run. There should be a lot of points in that game, and Kentucky could be susceptible there. And I don't trust Purdue at all in the bottom of that region, because Purdue always chokes.
Yep, absolutely.
And I love Wyoming. They're playing Indiana in the first four. Wyoming's getting 4. I love Wyoming in this basketball game. It's kind of the theme of the night. Wyoming can score the basketball, and you're getting 4 points. Everybody makes a run in March, and you're going to make 2 or 3 runs if you can score the basketball like Wyoming. So I like Wyoming to win that game, at least cover the number there, and then I like your thinking there with St. Mary's losing. So yeah, I potentially have Wyoming in the second round, but they're not as good as UCLA. So I have UCLA over Kentucky in the Elite Eight in this one. Brad, what do you think about the East?
Okay, my pick is Kentucky and North Carolina, as far as them playing against each other with Kentucky winning. I think that I think, as you said, I think Murray State is going to pose possibly the biggest danger for Kentucky, as far as them getting to the getting past that particular spot. Baylor, I think, is going to get taken down by North Carolina, and I think at this point, I think North Carolina is going to also knock off UCLA, and at this point, I think you're going to be looking at a Kentucky matchup with North Carolina, and Kentucky wins, so that we complete my Final Four. My Final Four, I had Arizona, Wisconsin, Kentucky, and Gonzaga.
Gonzaga, Arizona, Wisconsin. And who?
Kentucky.
Kentucky. All right, Chase, East. You want to run through the East real quick?
Yeah, so my Cinderella of the tournament, they're not going too far, but I have Murray State to the Sweet 16. I have them beating San Francisco and then upsetting Kentucky in the round of 32.
Okay.
And then for my other upsets, I have Wyoming over St. Mary's, and then Virginia Tech over Texas. And then I have Murray State losing to Purdue, though. And then I have Purdue beating Baylor in the Elite Eight.
Who do you have Purdue playing in the Elite Eight?
Baylor.
Baylor. So Murray State over Kentucky. That seems to be the biggest.
That would be huge. I mean, yeah, it's a 7-2 upset, but that's going to cause a huge amount of brackets being busted there. If those who didn't have Baylor in their Final Four, Kentucky going down would be huge.
I think Kentucky's vulnerable. Clearly, look, their whole offense is centered around a big man, and Oscar Tshiebwe. He's the Naismith Player of the Year candidate. He's great. He gets 20 rebounds a game. That's all fine and good. You need guards in March, and Kentucky's been banged up in the backcourt for much of this season. And Murray State, they'll run you into the ground 30-2. This is not going to be an easy game at all for Kentucky in the second round. And then you look at it, I don't trust Purdue at all. And then I don't know. I think North Carolina is a really good team. You got Brady Manick, you have Caleb Love, you have just a bunch of guys who are really talented and really high recruits on this team. And you look at their metrics, I mean, you got 15-5 in the ACC. I know the ACC isn't at its strongest this year, but I mean, I think that team's really dangerous at the top of that bracket. I don't put any stock in the Shaka Smart. I mean, I think he's kind of old news, but I think that's going to be a tough game for Baylor in the second round against North Carolina, and I got them going out. And then I don't trust Kentucky. I don't trust Purdue. That's why it brings me to the 4 seed UCLA, who I have in my Final Four. All right, let's do our Final Four and national championship picks, and then we're going to talk some NFL free agency. So my Final Four is Gonzaga, UCLA, Arizona, Wisconsin. I have Arizona over Gonzaga in the national championship. Brad, you just did your Final Four. Why don't you just repeat it for the people?
Okay. Arizona, Wisconsin, Kentucky, and Gonzaga.
And who do you have winning?
Arizona.
Okay. Frank, your Final Four?
My Final Four, I got Gonzaga, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Auburn. I got Kentucky over Tennessee.
Kentucky over Tennessee. You have an all-SEC final.
Yes.
Interesting. All right, Chase, what's your Final Four?
Purdue, Texas Tech, Arizona, and Kansas. And I have Arizona over Purdue by 7.
Doug Robbins, San Diego State, best three-pointing team in the country, according to Ken Palm. Providence rates as the luckiest team in the country. He likes San Diego State.
Oh, he's talking about South Dakota State.
Not San Diego State. He likes South Dakota State and San Diego State. If they can't make three throws, they won't win. That's from John Burke. John Burke, everyone wearing blue. We got Duke winning it all. No, I don't have Duke winning it all. I got my Sixers. I got my Sixers gear on. The Sixers are up by 5 at halftime over the Denver Nuggets, a battle of MVP candidates down at the Wells Fargo Center. Jason Kelsey, sang the national anthem, which was interesting. Didn't have the sound on, but he looked like he looked the part. He looked like he knew what he was doing. Joseph Orosky, San Francisco played some challenging games this year. Murray State played against New Jersey Technical Institute San Fran by 20. And then Doug Robbins, he likes San Diego State. Let's get to some NFL talk. Free agency is a buzz right now. Our free agency NFL talk is going to be brought to you by All Campus, giving 20% everything in our store, including hat shirts and our team cornhole sets, to all of our subscribers. To become an A2D member, $9.99 a month. You can get some amazing perks, including shout-outs, members-only shows, appearances, and weekly picks from the Money Pot podcast. We're also brought to you by Manscaped. Each and every Monday, get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code A2D at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. So, a lot of moving and shaking in the NFL today. Chase, I know your favorite team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. For the first time in your life, Ben Roethlisberger will not be the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They signed Mitchell Trubisky today, and it looks like he's going to get the nod to be the starter of your squad.
Thank you, by the way.
Season.
Very glad he didn't end up with the Giants. Ooh.
So, what do you think about Mitchell Trubisky? Because I have my thoughts, and I want to see if
he's awful. I don't want to take him. I don't want him. I'd rather play Mason Rudolph.
You'd rather play Mason
Trubisky.
Rudolph.
Just draft Pickett or Ritter, or I don't think we'll get Willis, but just draft a quarterback.
Now, do you like those guys? Because we've been talking for months. Because I'm not really too high on the Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts. So we've been talking about quarterbacks a lot. And Chase, I got to look at these quarterbacks in the draft. I don't think any of them are just like that great. What do you think? Do you think about any of them are going to turn out to be, Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert or someone like that?
I don't think any of them are going to turn out to be that good, but I think there'll be a couple guys that will be they'll be good. They'll be like kind of like the like a Ryan Tannehill of now, but not as old as him.
Right.
But they'll kind of have like the same career as players like him.
But I mean, Chase, so you don't have any confidence. You don't have any confidence in Mitchell Trubisky and step in to the Steelers with a pretty good team around them and keep the train on the tracks, not turn it over. Because Big Ben, he wasn't that great last year.
Yeah,
and he still made the playoffs. So you don't think Mitchell Trubisky is an upgrade over Ben Roethlisberger?
No, I mean, he's like younger and everything, but I don't think he's gonna do as good as Ben did in his last season. With the Bears, he was good for like his first 2 seasons, and then with the in last seasons he didn't play good, and then with the Bills he didn't play at all.
Well, there's your buddy Wahoo 56. Give him a chance. People think you should give Mitchell. I think you should give Mitchell Trubisky a chance too, Chase. He's 29-21 as a starter in this league. He's led the league in QBR before. He's athletic. The Bears went to the playoffs 2 straight years with Mitchell Trubisky as their starting quarterback, and then they cast him off. He signs a backup deal to be Josh Allen's backup for a year. Now he's back in the starting mix. Look, I'm not trying to say that Mitchell Trubisky is going to save the Pittsburgh Steelers franchise and, be the second coming of Ben Roethlisberger. I don't think that at all. But I think Mitchell Trubisky at this point in his career has more tools to help you win football games than Big Ben had last year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I look at this. I think you draft Pickett or Willis or somebody, and you have Rudolph. So you kind of get these guys in the mix and you see who's the best is. But, there's a lot of bad quarterbacks out there. A lot of bad quarterbacks. I think you can do worse than Mitchell Trubisky. I do. Now, a lot of other teams made Hassan Reddick Eagles get their pass rusher, Temple.
That's a nice pickup.
Yeah, it's a
That's a
great
nice
pickup.
pickup for the Eagles.
The Eagles, they get a pass rusher, they get a linebacker. I assume he's going to play some defensive end for us, but he's also a guy who can drop back in coverage, gives Jonathan Gannon, defensive coordinator, some versatility. Look, this is an A-plus move. This is an absolute A-plus move. Eagles were bottom 5 in getting after the quarterback last year and still managed to make the playoffs. So you add a playmaker. He got some money, but the years are down. $45 million overall on his contract, $30 million guaranteed. For a guy that's going to get you double-digit sacks, I mean, I think that's a little bit of a bargain. I think this is a slam dunk signing by the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they got a lot better today.
Solid player. I like him. I was kind of hoping the Giants might have enough cap space to fit him in, but I guess they want more than one player, so and they don't have the cap space to get more than one or two players. So I know the Giants picked up what's his name, Glowinski from the Colts to play guard, which is not a bad move for them. And my favorite player on the Giants, and you know I'm dripping with sarcasm.
Yes, I saw.
Okay, a guy that I just love play and drop passes over and over and over again in big spots. Evan Ingram, he's going to now drop passes for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And they spent some money today too.
Good riddance to that guy.
Jimmy Rodweller, Carson Wentz is the best quarterback in the NFC East. Look, and now we got to talk about it. Now we got to open the Carson Wentz can of worms because Carson Wentz went from the Indianapolis Colts to the Washington Commanders, and he's going to get to play the Eagles twice a year.
You think he's better than Dak, Jimmy?
No, that's ridiculous. Dak's the best quarterback. Carson might be second.
Might be.
But
the other three are really kind of at this point you put them all in the
and I want to get
category.
But I mean, you look at Vegas, and he goes from the Colts to the Washington Commanders, and the Washington Commanders Super Bowl odds actually got worse after the trade. So that tells me that should tell you all you need to know about Carson Wentz.
I thought Heineke was pretty good. I don't know why they were so anxious to get Wentz when they had Heineke. I mean, if they're gonna upgrade, that's a marginal upgrade at best.
Taylor Heineke stinks.
Yeah, but he's still better than Wentz at this point.
No, he's not. Stop. Look, Carson Wentz has all the tools to be a good quarterback in this league.
He's
big, he's strong, he can make all the throws, and he's athletic. But for whatever reason,
he throws interceptions at the worst time.
The 6 inches between his ears are not right, and that's his downfall. That's his downfall year after year. Chase, did you ever think, we're big Eagles fans? Brad's a Giants fan, but me and Frank, we're big Eagles fans. And we saw what Carson Wentz did in 2017, and we're just astonished at his downfall. He's barely getting jobs. He's barely getting looks here in 2022. What do you think about Carson Wentz to the Washington Commanders? Because you're down there in D.C., right? You live down in Maryland. So
yeah.
Are a lot of your buddies Washington fans?
I have one friend that's Washington fan, and everyone else is Ravens.
Is Ravens. Okay. What is your Washington Commander fan think about Carson Wentz being the quarterback?
I mean, I haven't really heard from him because he doesn't he likes them. He'll watch the games, but he doesn't look very closely.
Gotcha.
He didn't really know who Carson Wentz was until he got traded, but
what do you think? What do you think about Carson Wentz?
I like him to the Commanders. I think he'll do better than the Eagles. 2017, I think just the ACL, he just couldn't do anything. I guess it really messed him up. And I mean, they have Terry McLaurin.
He's a good receiver.
Yeah, I don't know if they have Sam still, but
They have weapons. The Commanders have weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Logan Thomas.
You know what, Rob? Problem is and I'm sorry about that. But the Commanders have weapons, but the problem is Wentz had all kinds of weapons in Indy, and couldn't even make the playoffs with that team. I mean, I just don't understand how that team couldn't get into the playoffs with the talent they had.
Well, I mean, and then Jimmy wants to say Carson had 2 bad games last year. Everyone wants stats. He was 27-7 last year with a top 10 QBR. Those are your stats. Yeah, but I mean, Jimmy, stats can lie. Stats can lie to you, Jimmy. Like, those stats are a farce because he doesn't relate well to his teammates. He can't get along with his teammates. He's a detriment to your team chemistry in the locker room for whatever reason. He doesn't take well to coaching. So he doesn't have any intangibles. I agree with you on his ability to throw the football and his ability to make plays with his legs and his athleticism and his size and the whole thing. He should be a franchise quarterback on paper, but the game isn't played on paper. So, like, you can't have a guy like that on your team. And, like, when you have reports coming out that, you know, he didn't like the Eagles making that run when he got injured, after he got injured, and he gets in a fight with Darren Sproles, according to Jeff McClain, because he's salty that the Eagles are making a run without him. And then you have Frank Reich sticking up for him to bring him into Indy. And then Frank Reich has to go into Jim Irsay after the season, after Wentz blows the game to the Jaguars. That's going to get them into the playoffs and has to apologize, fall on his sword and apologize for recommending that they bring him in. And then you have all these reports that Carson Wentz from Jump Street didn't get along with any of his teammates. And he clearly didn't get along with his teammates or take well to coaching in Philadelphia. Like, Carson Wentz isn't good enough to be above coaching. Carson Wentz cannot be a detriment to my team chemistry in the locker room. Quarterback's got to be the captain. Quarterback's got to be the leader. Quarterback's got to lead by example. That's not Carson Wentz. It's just not. Now, can he put together a decent career in Washington? Maybe. But, like, he's like a Kirk Cousins type guy. He's not better than Dak Prescott. He's certainly not on the level of Patrick Mahomes or Herbert or Josh Allen or any of these guys. So, like, I mean, you want to take your 27-7 and your top 10 QBR, like, okay. But when it matters most, Carson Wentz is going to come up small. He's going to hold on to the ball too long. He's going to take sacks. He's going to make silly interceptions. He fumbles the ball way too much. And he's not a leader. His teammates don't like him. He doesn't take well to coaching. Like, those aren't good flaws to have as a quarterback. Like, I'm sorry, I love Carson when he's here. And if the intangibles weren't a thing, Carson Wentz might be a top 10 quarterback in this league. But, like, maybe he'll learn, and maybe it'll click for him down in Washington. I don't know, but I don't know.
Rob, he had a tremendous offensive line there in Indy.
And he still held the ball way too long and took way too many sacks.
He had a great offensive line. He had a great running back.
Best running back
really,
in the league.
really good receivers. I mean, he had no excuse to fail in Indy. None.
And he fell flat on his face. I mean, the Jaguars had 2 wins last year. They were both against Carson Wentz and the Indianapolis Colts. Like, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, and to score 11 points against them in a game that all they had to do was win and you're in, and he scores 11 points against them? I mean, come on. Even if Jacksonville had a good offensive game, they should have been able to score at will against Jacksonville. I mean, that's crazy that happened.
And Jimmy, I hear you on the intangibles, but I'm taking a guy with arm talent over intangibles any day of the week. But, like, Carson, he look, you can't have a guy be the leader of your franchise, the CEO, so to speak, of your franchise that doesn't get along with his teammates. He has problems playing well with others. Like, it's inexplicable. I don't know if he's got the religious thing. Maybe the guy's just a jerk off. I don't know. Maybe he pushes his religion on people people take that the wrong way. I don't know. But something's missing upstairs in the 6 inches between the ears with Carson Wentz. And it showed here and it showed in Indianapolis. And I don't really understand why it won't show in Washington.
Well, hopefully for him, he'll end up being a little bit humbled. I think Carson Wentz, part of the problem is I think he thinks he's better than he really is. And now after being humbled a little bit, maybe he will start listening to some coaching and be a better player. Hopefully for him, he will. I think he does have a lot of ability. There's no question about that. But his turnovers seem to always come at the most crucial time. And they always seem to be the kind of turnovers, there are turnovers, Rob, and there are turnovers. Right. It just seems like they always seem to come at the worst and most devastating time of the football game.
In crunch time. Remember the Titans game?
Yeah.
He tried to throw the ball left-handed in his own end zone.
I think the best word to describe him, because I know I used to say this sometimes about Eli Manning with some of the plays that he used to make. He sometimes just turns into a flat-out blockhead. And I just can't understand, and you don't understand it. It always happens in the most detrimental time of the game.
I mean, Jimmy, what do you want? What do you want around him? Stop saying he had immense talent. They didn't. O-line was hurt all year, and the only receiver he had was Michael Pittman. So what do you want? What do you want for Carson? And you're a Carson guy. I get it. You like him. I don't know why you like him. I don't know how you can, pound the table for Carson Wentz after everything that's gone down around this guy. But clearly you are. So what do you need? Is there enough in Washington for him to succeed? Or are we going to be making excuses in 8 months that when he falls short in Washington? Chase, what if Carson Wentz was the quarterback for the Steelers? Would that excite you, or how would you feel about that?
It would basically upset me. I'd rather have Trubisky than Wentz.
Wow. Wow. Trubisky over Wentz. Why Trubisky over Wentz?
Because he knows how to throw a football. That's basically why.
So you don't think Carson Wentz, you're out on Carson Wentz. You think he's just too big of a headache to have on your team?
I think in Washington, he has a lot of weapons. There should be no excuse why he shouldn't make the playoffs with them. McLaurin, Logan Thomas, even J.D. McKissick and Antonio Gibson out of the backfield. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're getting some love. It's going places with them hot takes. I mean, that's not a big hot. You said Carson Wentz was better than Dak Prescott, Jimmy. So, you want to say king of the hot takes. I mean, that's one of the worst takes I've ever heard in my life. Dak Prescott is no doubt about it, top 10 quarterback in this league. He's well worth his price tag. And I don't put many of the Dallas Cowboys' struggles on Dak Prescott at all. In no way, shape, or form should the Dallas Cowboys be, looking to move on from Dak Prescott.
Their defense ends up killing them every year.
And Don, he's Chase has better taste than Ralph and Greg. So which is
woo.
Yeah, Don 19 said it, not anyone on this panel, but yeah, Greg and Ralph. I mean, hold on to your seats, buckle up, because Chase is coming for you.
Yeah, I could see Greg getting challenged.
Well,
hey Greg, just so that you know, I'm not included in this little beatdown.
And then
going on right now.
And then Mr. Wing chimes in. Problem is, Wentz is he's a bad teammate. He's a bad teammate. I can't explain it, but there's something missing in there's something missing between the ears with Carson Wentz, and he's in no way, shape, or form better than Dak Prescott. That's ridiculous and obnoxious. And
no, he's not.
And I mean, if you want to say you want to pound the table for a guy who's a top 10 to 15 quarterback in this league, go ahead, be my guest. But I mean, He's an upgrade over Taylor Heineke. Like I'll give Jimmy that, and the Carson Wentz defense team that. Like I think that he just has more skills to help the Washington Commanders win than Taylor Heineke, Carson Wentz that is. But like when there's 3 minutes to go in the game, and you need Carson Wentz to make a couple plays to put you in field goal position or to go win a game, I have zero confidence that he's going to be able to do that. He's going to fumble the ball. He's going to have a bad turnover, and it's going to end well. It's going to end well. Not going to end well for Washington, in my opinion. So, like, I mean, so now what? We're going to be scared of Washington now? Like, and I don't know where I stand on Jalen Hurts versus Carson Wentz, because I don't like Jalen Hurts. I don't think he's that great. What do you think, Chase? You're an outside, non-objective AFC fan. You're a fan of the Steelers. So, like, when you watch the Eagles and you see Jalen Hurts, what do you see?
I think he has potential. He just needs more weapons. He doesn't really have any in Philly right now. But if they get some more weapons, or if he goes to a team that has weapons, I think he'll do very well. I think he has the potential to be a very good quarterback in the NFL.
Okay.
I think that's a pretty accurate assessment, actually.
So, Jimmy, Cowboys forced the most turnovers in the league this year. Dak needs everything around him to be perfect to win football games. What does Carson Wentz need to win football games? Because Dak Prescott made the playoffs last year. Carson Wentz didn't. Carson Wentz embarrassed himself, got his ass shipped from Indianapolis to Washington because of how bad he played in a do-or-die situation against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who won 2 football games last year, both against Carson Wentz and the Indianapolis Colts. So, like, if Dak needs everything to be perfect, and I think he's a top 10 quarterback, then what does Carson need? I mean, what are we talking about here? Like, Carson Wentz got a huge paycheck and all this clout in the league because of 13 games in 2017. And they were a hell of a 13 games.
Yeah, but they were spectacular games, though.
He was spectacular in them. And he deserves all the credit for getting the Eagles the number 1 seed in the NFC playoffs, and deserves, I think, more credit than Nick Foles in that Super Bowl championship run. So, like, I hear you, but, I mean, Carson Wentz hasn't done anything in this league since 2017. He's done nothing. He was awful in 2018. Got himself hurt in a playoff game. He didn't react well to Jalen Hurts getting picked to be his backup in the second round of the draft. He was awful in 2019. Got his ass benched, and then Jalen Hurts came in and beat the Saints. Got his ass traded to Indianapolis, and then fell flat on his face in Indianapolis in every big spot he was in. Got his ass traded from again, he's traded from Indianapolis to Washington. So this is last licks for Carson Wentz. So
this might be his last chance to be a starter if he blows it
this
this
is his
time.
last chance. So, like, I mean, look, Jimmy, I can't help you. If you think Carson Wentz is better than Dak Prescott, then I can't help you. You gotta get your eyes checked and learn about the league. Maybe hang out with Chase a little more and learn the league. Because, like, if you just sit here and argue, like, take your Eagles glasses on. I know we hate Dak Prescott. He's on the Cowboys. Everybody hates the Cowboys. Chase probably hates the Cowboys. Brad definitely hates the Cowboys. Me and Frank, as Eagles fans, hate the Cowboys. But you got to be fair and pragmatic with this stuff. You do. You got to tell people the truth when you go on the airwaves at A2D Radio. And Dak Prescott is light years better than Carson Wentz.
He's also a franchise quarterback.
Carson Wentz hasn't done anything in this league in almost 5 years. Nothing. And you want to tell me he's better than Dak Prescott? And, like, you have, like, I mean, Dak has had top 5 O-line, Zeke, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Gallup most of his career. Like, yeah, well, Dak's going to have to prove himself because they don't have Amari Cooper this year. They're shopping Lyle Collins. Cedric Wilson goes from Dallas to Miami, so they're going to lose him. It looks like DeMarcus Lawrence is going to stay. They're still going to have Parsons and Diggs on rookie contracts. I think they're going to need to add a linebacker. And they really didn't get much out of Zeke last year. But Tony Pollard's good. I mean, Joe Gronkowski, Frank has been awfully quiet during the Carson talk. So, Frank, did I say anything that was unfair or wrong about Carson Wentz?
Absolutely. I mean, nothing's been unfair. I mean, Carson, I love Carson. I like Carson. He has, especially with the Carson versus Dak debate, when Carson was an Eagle, there was a very good chance Carson was better than Dak. But, if you compare them side by side, they both have factors that set them apart from one another. And you can make valid points with that. But, how everything went down at the end of Philadelphia and Indianapolis, and now he's in Washington, this year, as Brad said, it's got to be it. Could this be Carson's last chance to be a starting quarterback in the league? And if you put both of those players in different situations, I mean, they would succeed in their own rights. I mean, had Carson been in a Cowboys uniform, I mean, he would be very successful. I mean, you could. It's a very tough debate between Carson and Dak. It's a shame that how everything went down. Behind the scenes stuff. It's just tough to see. What became of him as more of these reports came out. I mean,
he's like a
Frank. You know what though? You got to look at it. Look at all the comebacks that Dak has had the last few years.
Right.
Okay. I mean, he's one of these guys. The Cowboys are never out of a game when he's the quarterback. I mean, he's had some unbelievable comebacks. The Cowboys defense has always been a problem for him. Yep. And if the Cowboys got stopped a couple of times, he would suddenly find himself down like 17 points. But yet he always was able to make these incredible comebacks for his team. I mean, the guy has that clutch factor that Carson just never had.
Right.
I think that's the difference.
And that's the other thing
Carson
too.
Actually has a better arm than Dak.
And there were moments where Carson has been clutch before, but he just, I mean, even after 2017, he just hasn't been the same. He always wants to play hero ball. All 2020, we saw that, especially the game against Washington, where he was trying to go for a kill shot every single time. It led to an interception. So he's trying too much to be the hero or to be, hey, let me save the day. This is my show now. And it just doesn't pay off.
I think he'd be more effective in a West Coast type of offense. I do. I think that's kind of the answer for him.
If you're in a West Coast offense, Brad, you got to do 3-step drop. You got to get the ball out, which Carson doesn't do. And, you need to play within the system. You can't play hero ball that Frank just
right. But that's what I think that if he does the 3-step drops, he's getting rid of the ball quickly. He won't fumble. He really shouldn't be throwing a lot of interceptions on short passes. I mean, short passes are the easiest passes to complete. You get him in a rhythm, and then you take the shot downfield. I think he just was impatient. I think that's part of the problem with him. The key to football a lot of times, Rob, is you got to take what they give you, and I don't think he does that.
Look, I mean, I'm looking at Dak is 4,500 yards passing, 37 touchdowns, 10 picks. And plus I watched him play. He can stand in the pocket and he can make throws. He can make all the throws.
He's also a dangerous runner.
He's a leader. He leads that football team. He's the unquestioned leader on offense. Dak Prescott. for the Dallas Cowboys. I know that sucks to say here in Philadelphia, but I mean, Chase, that's ridiculous, right? Putting Dak Prescott and Carson Wentz in the same sentence.
Yeah, Dak Prescott's it would probably take 2 Carson Wentz to be even close to being as good as Dak Prescott. Like, I don't hate Carson Wentz. I think he needs a little bit more weapons, but if he doesn't play well, then like my hopes lost with him. But I don't think he's even close to comparing to Dak Prescott.
Leads the team in first round exits. I mean, like, you got to be there. Like, you got to be there to exit in the first round. Jimmy, like, Dallas, you know, they're in the playoffs, like, kind of a lot. I mean, 2019, Carson beat Dak with a hard roster. I mean, look, you want to go back and point out regular season games from 2019? Like, come on, like, get a life, Jimmy.
It's 3 years ago.
Carson Wentz hasn't done anything of any substance.
He has deteriorated in the last 3 years.
Carson Wentz hasn't done a damn thing in this league of substance since 2017. He stunk in 2018. He stunk in 2019. He stunk again in 2020. He got traded to the Colts, and when it mattered most, he stunk there too. Consistently doesn't take well to coaching. Consistently is a bad teammate. Like, look, it's not just one report that Carson Wentz he stunk. He wasn't good. Like he didn't play at a franchise level. The only time he played like a franchise quarterback in Philadelphia was in 2017. And I know they got in the playoffs in 2019, but he got hurt again. The entire team stunk in 2020 because Carson Wentz was throwing picks left and right. Look, I don't understand what your thing is with Carson. He's not good enough. He's a borderline starter in this league. He can't get. Mr. Wing, he had an uneven year in 2019. He had 4 good games versus the NFC least. I mean, I'll go back and. I mean, I'm talking winning the division that year. I mean, yeah, then they lost in the playoffs. Carson Wentz has yet to complete a playoff game in his career. Like, he started one and got hurt and didn't finish. Couldn't get the Colts there. Couldn't get the Eagles. Did a great job in 2017 to put the Eagles in position. But, like, look, I'm not consuming myself. Yeah, Jimmy, I get it, and you're wrong. Your argument is wrong. Dak Prescott is way better than Carson Wentz. Period. End of story. So you're telling me if the Washington football team or the Commanders, actually call them by a name now, called up the Cowboys and said, we'll give you Carson Wentz for Dak Prescott, the Cowboys would laugh in their face. The Cowboys would never do that.
They would hang up.
They would hang up. They would laugh at you. You think Carson Wentz is better than Dak? Like, Dak just has more tools to help you win football games than Carson Wentz. Now, if Carson wants to go out in Washington and do good things and win football games and recapture whatever he had in 2017, cool, we can talk about it. But until Carson Wentz does something of substance in this league, like, his stock's at an all-time low.
Yeah, he's got to prove it.
The Washington Commanders Super Bowl odds on DraftKings went down. They got worse when they brought in Carson Wentz. That trade happened. Carson Wentz is the starter in Washington. Their Super Bowl odds got worse. Like, let that sink in. Wahoo 56, Carson started out really good, but he has not reached that level since 2017. That's a great comment. Tom Hederick, if I'm Jerry Jones, I'll swap Wentz for Dak. Like, I know, like, we're in Philadelphia and we're trained to hate the Cowboys and everyone the Cowboys stink, but, like, let's use our brains. Let's use our eyes a little bit and be smart and logical. Carson Wentz should not even be in the same sentence as Dak Prescott. So you're gonna ditch a guy who went to the playoffs last year, 4,500 yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 picks. You're trading him for a guy who hasn't done anything of substance in this league in 5 years. You guys are out of your minds. Look at the Bengals. I mean, okay. Yeah, Joe Burrow flourished into a franchise quarterback, Jimmy. Nobody cares about the odds. That's a horrible way to defend your argument. My argument is what's happened in the league. That's my argument. Like, the odds of them getting worse, adding Carson Wentz, that's like my 18th argument. That's like my 18th bullet point on why Carson Wentz stinks and he's a loser. He can prove me wrong, but I'm so over Carson Wentz, and I defended him a lot. But the guy's just a loser. Some guys have it, some guys don't. Carson Wentz doesn't have it. I don't know how else to explain it. But anyway, other teams made some moves. The Chargers, they're making moves out there in Los Angeles. How about the AFC West? Like, they're just loading up out there. I mean, you have the 4 quarterbacks in that division are Mahomes, Derek Carr, Russell Wilson now, and Justin Herbert, who's a top 5 guy already in this league. Chargers at Khalil Mack. Chargers at J.C. Jackson from the Patriots. Chase, what do you think about the AFC West?
I like the Chargers and Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson. People were saying J.C. Jackson's was a top 3 corner in the NFL last year, and I also agree, and I agree with that. And they already had Casey Hayward, who is gone now. They had Chris Harris Jr., I think, is also gone.
Yeah, he's gone. So
And
they have Derwin James back there still,
Yep.
and they have Asante Samuel Jr. back there. And now they have J.C. Jackson.
Yeah, they'll be good as long as Derwin James doesn't tear his ACL for the 5th straight year. But yeah, I like how they're stacking up on the defense because they're pretty much good on offense. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Eckler, Herbert, all of them.
Pretty good offensive line. So, they were bottom of the league in all these defensive stats. I just don't trust their coach. Brandon Staley goes for it on 4th down a lot, kind of is reckless and wild card. I think the Raiders are going to be a factor here. I think Josh McDaniels is going to do well in his second time around as a head coach. And then the Chiefs have Mahomes and J.C. Jackson. He's a Terp. I didn't know he was a Terp. J.C. Jackson went to Maryland, Chase. That's what your dad said in the chat.
Yeah, he was Florida for freshman, sophomore, junior, transferred to Maryland for his senior year, and then went undrafted. Patriots picked him up.
And the Patriots turned him into a star.
Yep, and he's been playing well since then.
So do you think the Chargers are better than the Broncos with Russell Wilson?
Yes, I still think they are. I think Russell Wilson's just going to get worse going to the Broncos. Cortland Sutton, he's been getting injured a lot. Then Noah Fant got traded. And Melvin Ingram, he's not been doing great. And then you still have Williams, I think. Yeah. You still have him, but that's really all.
And obviously you have the Chiefs. They're still really good.
Yeah.
They're going to have Mahomes. They're going to have the Honey Badgers. So we got a few minutes left here. So your Chargers, or not your Chargers, your Steelers, what do you think they still have to do to obviously you're chasing down the Bengals in that division. The Bengals went to the Super Bowl. They have Joe Burrow. So like, what do you think your Steelers have to do to be better than Joe Burrow and the Bengals next year?
Before we think about getting a new quarterback, we need to get more offensive line because we have like nobody. And then I think Najee, he's been pretty good. I think maybe I wouldn't really care if we grab another receiver or if we don't. Juju's been fine.
He's
Chase
a free
Claypool's
agent, though.
been-
There's a lot of reports
Yeah.
saying he's going to come play for the Eagles, which I don't know how I
Yeah.
feel about that. Like
Like
do you
Eagles
think
and
Juju's
Ravens,
still,
there's been a lot.
do you think Juju's still good?
I mean, he's still decent.
Well, you
But-
think he's going to go with the Ravens though? I mean,
Yeah,
I thought they hated the Ravens.
I know. Like
In
going from the
Pittsburgh.
Steelers to the Ravens.
Yeah, that
like,
would not be. He would not be known very popular if he went to the Ravens. I think the Ravens will go all out and try to bring in a guy like that because the Ravens really need a receiver to go with their
Yeah.
tight end.
Well, look,
And
go ahead,
and I
Jason.
feel like they always try to grab that player. Like they did that with Calais Campbell. A couple other guys. They just grabbed.
Steve
Earl
Smith, if you
Thomas.
remember, most recently,
Yeah.
Steve Smith. They
Look,
got him right at the end.
Jarvis Landry got released. They trade for Amari
Mhm.
Cooper, Cleveland. They released Jarvis Landry, saved themselves a bunch of cap space. I mean, if I'm Howard Roseman, like that's exactly the kind of receiver I want in my building.
No, the Chiefs are already after him, Rob.
A lot of teams are going to be after him.
Yeah, I think he's gonna end up
Tampa's going to be after him. I think
Yeah, I
the
think he's
Chiefs
gonna
are
end
gonna
up-
be after him.
I have a feeling he's going to end up with the Chiefs.
But I mean, you need a slot guy here in Philadelphia for Jalen Hurts and be a mentor to Devontae Smith. I mean, Jarvis Landry. I mean, I love Jarvis Landry. I think that would just be a match made in heaven. But what would you think of? What do you think of Juju, Frank? What do you think of Jarvis Landry? What do you think?
I mean,
What do the
you
Eagles
guys,
do?
you guys bring up a lot of good points with getting a guy like Juju or Jarvis Landry. A little extra veteran help wouldn't help. Wouldn't kill. I hope we do make another move at wide receiver. I still think we go after one. I don't know who yet, but I do like the prospect of getting Jarvis or
Wasn't
Juju.
I know Jarvis? He had some injuries last year, but wasn't
Yeah.
Juju hurt last year, Chase?
Yeah, he I think it was week 4. Kareem Jackson hit him and he dislocated his shoulder.
Right.
He was out until the first week of the playoffs, where when we lost the Chiefs, he played 5 or 10 snaps.
Okay. So both guys injury. Then we got Joe Horhossi, Javonte Williams going off next year. Mitchell Trubisky, looks like he's going to start for the Steelers, at least at first. Chase is not a fan of that. He's a Steelers fan. I think Joe, he also thinks that the Bengals are a one-hit wonder. How do you guys feel about DJ Chark in Philadelphia? Look, sign everybody. Sign everybody you can afford, Howie. Sign everybody. Yeah, baby Chark, baby Chark.
According to Pro Football Rumors, Rob, the Chiefs and the Saints seem to be the most interested in Jarvis Landry right now.
How are the Saints? I thought the Saints were $60 million over the cap. They're trying to bring in Watson. They're bringing in these guys. They're bringing in that guy.
You're gonna have to cut. They're gonna have to cut half their team if they want to bring these guys in.
I guess Marcus Williams, their safety. I guess he won't be going back.
Well, Lattimore already restructured his contract.
Yeah,
I don't know how
DJ
much.
Chark. Look, the Eagles. They had 17 mil after they restructured Kelsey, and then they signed Reddick, which I love. Got to get after the quarterback. You have 3 first-round picks, so you can address needs there. You need $8 million to sign your draft picks, right? Because we have 3 of them this year. I think I read something like that.
Yeah, between 8 and 10.
Everyone you can afford. Marcus Williams, sure. Jarvis Landry, sure. Juju, sure. DJ Chark, sure. Sign everybody. The Phillies should take notes. They should sign everybody too.
Yeah.
Everybody should sign everybody. Sign everyone you can afford. Ask questions later. I don't know. We got the Flight Zone coming up next with Jimmy and Evan. Jimmy, there's Jimmy. Last comment of the night. He would love Marcus Williams as safety. I'm sure he'll be continuing his Dak Prescott versus Carson Wentz nonsense on that program, so you can check that out. Sixers 88-81. We didn't get much to NBA or MLB tonight. We'll get into that next week. 88-81 Sixers, start of the fourth quarter. Jimmy and Evan will take you home on there. Chase, thank you for joining us. Good luck in your bracket. Check out Chase on YouTube. Terps for Life 17. He's got some great sports clips on there. He's got clips of him playing basketball. It's a good YouTube channel. It's worth your time. Frank, great job tonight producing. And Brad, good job as well. Me and Brad will be back next Monday night talking
NHL trade deadline night.
NHL trade deadline, MLB, opening day stuff right on the corner. We'll have fantasy stuff. We'll have the free agent moving and shaking.
Rob, before we sign off,
Go ahead.
what do you think of the Yankee trade?
I don't understand. I don't understand it. I don't think you got bet. I don't think you got worse. I don't think you got bet. It's just a lateral move that I just don't understand. And
they had to get a shortstop, but I mean,
I get that, and that's going to help you a lot having Glaber go back to second base. But am I crazy for thinking Gio Urshela is the best player in that trade?
Yeah, you are.
Who's the best player in the trade?
Donaldson by far.
I mean, maybe Donaldson 3 years ago.
He had what did he have last year? 26 home runs and 72 RBIs.
I mean, okay. Then you have
everybody seems to be
no
criticizing Donaldson. He's 2 of the last 3 seasons have been really good.
You got the short porch and right, and you got no lefties.
They need to get they're going to do something at first base, I think. I mean, I don't think they're going to sign Freeman. I just can't see adding another $30 million to the payroll. But I think there's a good chance you might see Rizzo back, and that's not a bad move for them.
And then I would ask you what you think of the Phillies moves, but they don't do diddly nothing.
I don't like anything they've done yet.
I won't curse. They haven't done anything.
They signed Brad Hand. You brought back Odubel.
They stink. Archie Bradley and Hector Neres were bad. That's a better combo than what they just signed.
Yeah, I don't like Familia.
Give me a break. You get all this stupid money. You do nothing. They do nothing. What's the point of signing Harper a couple years ago for $330 million? If you're just going to sign Harper to fool the fan base and get me to buy his jersey, which I have, and get me to buy a T-shirt of Bryce Harper, which I have, and get me to go to games to watch Bryce Harper, which I have, and then do nothing else, like, why are you wasting my time? It's stupid. So, I mean, we'll really tee off. If we get to next Monday night at 7:30 and the Phillies still haven't done anything of substance, duck and cover, because I'm coming in hot. Duck and cover. Anyway, Flight Zone coming up next. Great job, everyone. Thanks for everyone out there. Thanks to our sponsors. Peace out, everybody.
Thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome, buddy.
Great job, Chase.